Great. So the next session is on data resources and challenge community platform. This is really going back to what we stated at the beginning of this workshop, to also provide a forum for others to engage in understanding what the resources are. There were many questions about data sets and opportunities, and some were already answered in the presentations. But we have now two brief talks on more specific initiatives that have been launched in different ways. So the first speaker is Fred Hamprecht, who is going to present on an initiative that he spearheaded and put together, which also touches and interacts now with others to basically establish a platform where individuals can bring questions or expertise or data, and which aims to bring this all together. So yeah, without further ado, thank you, Fred. Over to you.
Thanks, Oliver. I'm speaking on behalf of a bigger crowd of people who all had the same impulse, the same basic idea, namely, as you see in our logo, we have to tackle this disease, this pandemic on different timescales. In the very short term, there is the allocation of vital resources, of limited resources. There's the question of optimal treatment strategies in intensive care units. We need to make good epidemiological predictions to inform policymakers. We, on the longer time scale, as we heard, are interested in developing drugs and vaccines. And luckily, us as machine learners, in a broad sense, we will be needed, or we are able to make contribution at all of these stages. And in talking to people from our community, to you colleagues, there was a unanimous sense of really wanting to contribute, of wanting to help. And well, we thought one way to bring us together with people who are working at the front, medical doctors, biologists, and so on, would be to create a free exchange where questions and people who may be able to give answers, where they can come together. Now, some of the issues that we've heard about here and that I've briefly listed, they entail questions in operations research, in bioinformatics, in machine learning, computer vision, GI science, cheminformatics, statistics, and so on. And luckily, we have found volunteers from all of these areas. So there is a list of PIs, so real people who tend to be much better at coding and doing the real thing than the PIs. They have volunteered to offer their expertise to whatever questions may be thrown at them. And well, we want to make it very simple for people to come to us with questions. Yeah, so we mainly here cater for these folks, people who have COVID-related data and or questions. And there are two ways they can get in touch and ask for help. The simplest one maybe is by filling in a very simple form where you tell us what kind of help do you need and how quickly. Alternatively, you can also directly go to a discourse that we're hosting. This discourse is organized in a number of categories, namely, I have data and or analysis problems, questions, I have issues with my software stack. People on our platform may be able to help, but there's also a platform that has sprung up to concentrate on just that. And on the other hand, there are the people wanting to help. And we luckily so far a number of things that have worked. So a few problems that we could solve already. And if I can find my tab hidden under the Zoom controls. So we have a few issues that we can solve as, that have a status of being solved, where askers and experts came together and could solve a problem. We have also, I've seen in the chat questions about, list of resources. There are many of these on the internet now, and we all believe it's good to have a little bit of redundancy. But we have such a wiki also where we try to give a fine-grained categorization of data set services, dashboards, and you can browse this, and you are free to make pull requests or suggestions on how to improve that if there is something. Of course, this is developing very, very quickly. It's everything on a scale of hours and days here. This is, I think we are reasonably set up now. This will scale well with the number of requests, because everything is, as an open source development, everything here is transparent. People from around the world can work together. But machine learning scientists, to do their best well, they need data. And as we heard in some of the talks, some of this data has real privacy issues. Sometimes there's just an issue of the people who have the data being completely overworked and not being able, not having the time, resources, the energy left to pass it on to others. And this is, I think, a real limiting resource of the amount of data that we as a community have access to. So what can you do? Well, if you want to have news from this platform, you can follow this on Twitter. You can register as a volunteer yourself by visiting our landing page and making a post here in a category where many people with great expertise have already presented themselves with what they think they can contribute. The most important thing, though, will be the following. By this 6 degrees of separation idea, probably you know someone, or someone who knows someone who actually has data and problems. And sometimes you will be the right person to deal with part of those questions. So maybe you're a computer vision scientist. Maybe you will know exactly what to do with the chest images, but there may be other data associated. For example, there may be other biomarkers that were recorded along with the chest x-rays, and you may not be the right person to address those questions. So whenever there are these whenever there's this extra data or extra information, then tell people, or be yourself the one to bring these questions to the platform to allow others to do their share in helping fight this pandemic, which is unfortunately threatening so many friends and family of us. Thanks, Oliver.